Probably the realist training with you.
Why? If you guys both play the equal amount of time.
Because I'm playing with someone who's better at the game.
And you're playing with someone that has knowledge, right? So it's like you're playing with someone that has years of knowledge of something, and this guy's playing with someone who doesn't. Not that anything wrong with my Metro, but just in the confines of the game. You know? And the bottom line is experience.
I think it depends on how dedicated the person is to learning at the game.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
But being able to practice against someone who's a lot better than you is going to help you.
Yeah, but see, Foxy, at that point, though, Foxy, you already understand the concept of this is how I don't beat myself in this game. You had already trained in that game. You can train with other people to do that, but first you have to get to that level. You know, like once you get there and you understand the game at that elite level, you can do that. But if you don't understand the game at that level, then it's a huge problem. You know, we just have a problem, and the real problem is knowledge is in training is hard to come by. I'm glad B-Don is on this train. I wanted to, when I was playing Aquaman, I just wanted to see, hey, can I get this matchup down a little more? I know it's hard, but I played him Fate versus Aquaman. We played like 75 games. He beat me 50 to 25. But there was a point where he was up 20-0, right? The final score is 50 to 25, but he was up 20-0. And he really helped me learn. So over the course of the next 2 hours, while he was still winning more, the set got a lot closer.
The Khan sends his regards.
So it was 20-0 and then basically 25-20 him. And I said, okay, you know, I'm really getting this down. A couple of days later, I said, hey, B-Don, let's play some more. I'm really learning. Right? He told me, I don't want to waste my time. I already beat you 50 to 25. Yeah. And I was like, but I was learning so much. Let's keep playing. And he goes, no, I already beat you. Don't worry about it. 2 years later, he told me, oh, man, yeah, I was just memeing you because nobody wanted to play you, so I just decided I would meme you for fun. Right? You absolutely said that. Stop. B-Don, stop. B-Don, how many times did we play after that? B-Don, how many times have we played after that day? Let's ask. Yes, you did, B-Don. Dude, Kobe, you were there. Dude, Kobe, get him. Kobe, get him. You were there. Kobe was there. It's really hard to play because everything has got to be a first to 10 or a first to 20. The real cool thing about playing somebody... no, you didn't. B-Don asked me to play a year later. I had retired from the game. I came back and told that story. B-Don said, I'll play you now. I was like, bleh. I retired. B-Don's like, I'll play you now. Hey, let's fire it up. Yeah, I'm sure you will, B-Don. A year later.
Let's fire it up.
A year later, B-Don. So, B-Don, you asked me after I had quit the game. I mean, at that point, I was like, okay, it's pointless. I hadn't played in weeks. And I'm like, now, instead of learning a matchup, I'm shaking off rust. It's pointless at that point. And B-Don, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not playing MK11, B-Don, so unfortunately, you're not giving me any games. And no, you wouldn't anyway. You would win, like, I don't know, whatever. You'll give me 1,000 games if you're losing. If you're winning, you won't give me any games. But the real fact of the matter is that, you know, everything is still in the confines of a set number of games. The reason why the MK community turned on me, and Lion, you brought this up. If you lose on stream, you're a joke. Even if you lose and you're claiming, hey, I'm learning here. It's okay to lose as long as I'm learning. Then you say, people say excuses, hold that loss, etc., etc., etc. You're not allowed to lose on stream. And Lion, back me up on this. You're not allowed to lose on stream. And that's just the truth. So when you lose on stream, people have a negative opinion.
I don't know why losing is such a big deal in this community.
I think about that, right?
Like, if you go to Tekken or Street Fighter and you grind rank, no one's going to care if you lost a rank game, you know?
Yeah, so
but here, it's like, if you lose to anybody, it's like, oh my god, you guys see what happened?
The real problem is losing on stream creates a certain narrative for you. So when I was training for Combo Breaker, the first one for MKX, I mean, I was training, but I was losing a lot of matches because I was learning for Combo Breaker. I went to Combo Breaker. It was unfortunate. I got 9th. I played pretty well. I made some mistakes. I knew where I made my mistakes, and I came home and I was like, I want to work on them. And I come home to 1,000 people telling me that I'm the most shit player known to man, you know, because you got bopped again, you know, probably get bodied in pools next time, you know, and it's like, people can't get over watching you lose. The whole alien situation backfired on me really bad, because the reason why I was playing all those alien players, you, Dragon, Dab, etc., is because I failed to believe that a game came out, a character came out, and a week later there's no options, right? Like, you can't find anything in practice mode. Like, you know how people are, right, Rio? Don't waste your time, there's nothing to find, right? And it's like, why would you say there's no information to find, right? Something that's brand new. So I lost every day to you, to Dragon, to Dab. But it was okay because we're learning and we're talking about strategies. And then when I finally showed progress in the matchup, the people that were watching my stream were like, man, I don't give a fuck. I saw you lose 20-0 every day. Just because you're getting lucky now doesn't mean anything. And they missed the point. The point was, there was something to find. No matter how bad you think something is, there's nothing wrong with losing to it until you find a way to make it more winnable. You know? And I was trying to explain to the stream, even some of the matches I was losing in those sets, I could have won. I didn't lose that match because of the matchup. I lost that match because of my mistakes. Not every match that you lose is because of the matchup. But they just couldn't get past the weeks of watching me lose over and over and over again. And the real problem is you just can't lose on stream. My crime was losing on stream. That's what happened. It turned on me. I lost on stream.
So a lot of people don't stream because a lot of people don't like losing while they're streaming and then having people make fun of them.
Yeah, I lost on stream.
Which I understand.
Like, in reality, I wasn't a top 8 MKX player, but I wasn't the worst. I have several 9th place finishes, a ton of top 16s, few 17s, some top 32s. Yeah, there's sometimes I lost in pools. But to say I was the worst, clearly public information says I wasn't the worst. Yet, because people saw me lose on stream over and over again, they just cannot fathom a world in which I didn't. The problem going forward for me personally, I don't want to harp on this because I want to get to Rio's point, is that once your community, the real cancer in this community is that our community is a triangle. At the top of this triangle are a bunch of players behind the scene who determine what the narrative is. They determine.
Yeah, honestly, there's no consistency when it comes to narratives and timelines.
Also, when it comes to getting games, they determine what players are worth giving games to, and what players are not. The players who are worth giving games to, you want to play so that you can go back and report the scores, right? Can we agree on that? And the ones that are up and coming, you're encouraged to keep playing them. Keep playing these guys, they're up and coming. And that narrative filters down through the community, through the stream chats, etc. Then there are players who are supposed to be worthless bums. No point in playing, they'll never learn, they can't adapt. When those guys get games, you're counting the hours till you get to 10 first. You quit playing those guys, you never play them again. You go to these private chats, talk about how bad you beat them. And Rio, you've seen a lot of these private chats that I used to be in, you know?
Yeah.
And it was bad. The real problem, this narrative trickles down. And then the other top players kind of feed off what people say. If people say, this guy's not worth your time, then you're not worth their time. And that's really what happens. That's why it's not that our community is more toxic than the next community, because every community has got levels of toxicity. It's the way our community is done that makes it even more toxic, even though it's really not, I guess. And for me, once the narrative through watching me lose over and over again got set that nobody should play Tom anymore, it's a waste of time, you can't adjust. I mean, I used to read threads on Test Your Might, and they say, I lost Tom, lose 10-0. He doesn't ever adjust. You know, and that's just not true. Like, you know, I lost all the time 10-0 Sub-Zero versus Cabal when I was learning. Clearly I adjusted, but sometimes take longer than others. You should never be discouraged for losing and coming back the next day and say, beat me again, I want to learn. That should be encouraged. Guys that lose go into the lab to better themselves and come back the next day to get better are guys you want to keep around in the community. because they're committed to learning the game. They're committed to leveling up. The losses are not meant to humble you. The losses are meant to encourage you. The great players, the more they lose, the more they want to come back and win. And those are the guys that you want to keep around in the community and encourage to stay around. Instead, you know, when somebody loses, we want them to sell their game, never come back. You're worthless. And that's just not the way the community should be. There's great value in losing and learning and leveling up. And losing in casuals should not punish you or tarnish your name or tarnish your reputation. And for me, the problem is the narrative is I'm completely worthless. There's no reason to play me. B-Don can come here and bullshit all he wants. He'll come in if he wins. He'll never play me again until MK12 or whatever. That's just what he does. And so a lot of other people, you know, and that's just what happens. So anyway, getting back to the subject though,
you know what I think is going to happen though in the future?
Yeah.
Eventually our community is going to have so many good players and so many good people that it won't matter, because all those trolls and people that focus on the negativity are going to be drowned out by all the good people we have, you know? We just have to get there. Think about it. If we had like hundreds of top players, there'd be more things you'd see that'd be more good than, you know, just trolling, right?
Lion. How many top aces did you make?
What's up, LTB?
MKX? You and your sparring partner, Trey Pound, share the same problem. You don't know how to close out somebody who doesn't beat themselves. You learned a lot, Lion, but you had no clutch gene because your sparring partner didn't have a clutch gene, so you couldn't learn it. When you were in that situation, and I saw this all the time, like, your biggest problem is when you were finally in that moment to play the most solid and close out those close, high-pressure games, you crumbled because you never learned how to do it. Lion, I've won a ton. Lion, when I was 18, I was. You're like 50, still waiting for. Come on, man, stop.